your ringing care phones, we have some thrilling news to announce. The iconic iCarly squad is returning to our screens this year. What's the show going to be about? Do we know which members of the original cast are making a return? And which one of them will have an on-screen daughter? Keep watching to find out. We're still living off nostalgia, and all these new reboots of our favorite shows are really doing the most. Well, iCarly is going to be no different. The show raised a whole generation and gave us some unforgettable jokes and quotes. You'll rue this day, you'll rue it! But since the show ended in 2012, a lot has changed in the world. In the original, the whole TV show is all about Carly Shay, a girl who's obsessed with technology and uploaded her life on her blog. What a legend! She was the blueprint for today's bloggers and influencers. But to be honest, we all grew up to be just like Carly. So what can we expect from the show? Well, one thing is for sure, the original cast is making a return. Miranda Cosgrove is obviously going to reprise the role of Carly Shay. We couldn't even imagine someone else playing Carly. That would just be wrong. Miranda has had tons of memorable parts, like Summer Hathaway in School of Rock, or Megan Parker in the Nickelodeon show Drake and Josh. But at the end of the day, she simply is Carly. And unlike many child actors, she embraces her past and genuinely loves this role. She seems excited to jump back into it, judging by the pics she's been sharing on Instagram. Another person returning to the set is Nathan Kress. In the OG show, he played the role of Freddie. Not only was he Carly's bestie, he was also the cameraman and the technician for her online show. And Nathan seems really excited to be coming back as well, hyping up the reboot on his social media. And if there's a person that had to be there, it would have to be Carly's older brother, Spencer, played by Jerry Trainer. His lines were one of the funniest things throughout the show, and we couldn't imagine a reboot without him. He uploaded the squad picture on Instagram with the caption, "Prepare yourselves." To be honest, we don't think there's anything that could properly prepare us for the reboot. He spoke about being back in the iCarly game in an interview. The three of us got back together, and it was kind of like riding a bike. It was like, we're back. To this, Miranda Cosgrove added, "It feels kind of crazy. We did the first table read about a week or so ago, and it was kind of insane. Like, just getting everybody back together again, and it was really fun. But one thing is breaking our hearts. Our king, Gibby, is not returning to the show. Or at least the actor who played him, Noah Monk, is nowhere to be seen. He seems to be thriving in the TV show The Goldbergs, but we would love to see him reprise the role of Gibby. Well, we can still hope that he'll make a surprise appearance in the show. Okay, guys, we have to address the elephant in the room. Jeanette McCurdy is sadly not coming back to the role of Sam Hyatt. We can't imagine the show without her, but Jeanette has quit acting altogether. She has opened up about her past, and it wasn't exactly sunshine and roses. On her podcast, Empty Inside, she said, "My experience with acting is, I'm so ashamed of the parts that I've done in the past. I resent my career in a lot of ways. I did the shows that I was on from like 13 to 21, and by 15, I was already embarrassed. My friends at 15 weren't like, 'Oh, cool, you're on this Nickelodeon show.' It was embarrassing." This wasn't the first time Jeanette was ashamed of her character and what it was standing for. In a very personal blog post, she shared, "My great contribution to society was walking onto an overlit Nickelodeon set shouting lines about fried chicken, and that's what kids were looking up to?" Jeanette has struggled with her eating habits since she was a child, and her mom passed away while filming iCarly. So it's quite understandable that she wanted to leave this part of her life behind. If you're asking if there's any beef between her and the OG cast, there isn't. In real life, they are all besties and are still hanging out together. With Sam officially not being part of the reboot, we're wondering another big thing. What's the show even going to look like? So far, we don't know much. Nickelodeon and Awesomeness, the two parents of this reboot baby, are keeping the concept of the show strictly under wraps. We only got a teaser in February, showing us Carly and Jerry getting back in front of the camera, while Nathan slips behind it. It's safe to say they've all still got it. But it was actually Nathan Kress who spilled further details about the show. He said that the show is going to have more of an adult shift. Nathan further explained things on his podcast, Radioactive Dads. The whole concept of the show, and that's why I don't even know if they necessarily agree with calling it a reboot, because it's not just doing the same thing over again. The whole point is this is a show that's geared toward people who watched iCarly, who were kids from 2007 to 2012, who are now adults. It's a show for them. It's about us. Fans want to be able to follow the story. We want it to be relatable to what's happening now to the age range of people who watched it when we were young. We love that the show actually cares for the die-hard fans and aren't just making it another cash grab for the kids who probably won't even get a good old buttersauce muffin. But how is the show going to be set in the modern day? Since doing vlogs isn't the hottest thing right now, is Carly going to be making TikToks? Or is she going to strive for a career in television? And while Nathan talks about the premise, which we're excited to hear about, there are some plot holes created by Sam not returning. since her and Carly used to be each other's ride or die. Well, the showrunner has made a plan. Carly is getting a new bestie. You heard that correctly. Lacey Mosley is joining the cast as Harper, Carly's best friend and roommate. Nathan spoke about the new characters joining the OG trio. The cool part is, what makes it different too is we have new characters that are coming. It's a lot of familiar faces, but there's some new people involved who are going to change up the story a ton and will make it very interesting, and I think somewhat unexpected. I have a kid on the show now, so that changes the dynamic a little bit. Yup, our lover boy Freddie has a child. Jaden Triplett, known from Netflix's Family Reunion, is going to play Millicent, Freddie's stepdaughter and a tech genius. Aha, just like her dad back in the golden days. This is already giving us insight into what Nathan Kress meant when he said he wouldn't necessarily agree with calling it a reboot. We'll basically see iCarly trying to balance adulthood, and that's okay with us, as long as it's peppered with some iconic quotes. Jerry Trainer also explained that he wouldn't call it a reboot. I'll say the scripts are really funny, but I don't think anyone is expecting what we're doing. I don't think a revival has been done quite this way. But there are still some things that are left off unanswered all the way from 2012. Do y'all remember that Freddie and Carly shared one final kiss in the last episode before Carly left for Italy? Because we sure as hell do. Do you think the show will make a nod towards this? When asked about this, the stars didn't want to say much. To be determined. I don't know, spills Nathan, before adding, I have no idea, and even if I did know, I wouldn't tell you. We gotta keep things spicy for the folks at home. Right, Miranda? To this, the actress replied, yeah, let's keep things spicy. Their co-star, Jerry Trainer, chimed in to add, too juicy to say. I feel like there are a lot of secrets. It's safe to say we can't wait to see how it's all going to look. But there's still a huge question mark hanging above it all. When is all of this arriving to our screens? It's quite hard to decide. So far, on January 27th, the iconic trio all shared the same picture on Instagram that had iCarly Set 1 written in the background. But on March 20th, Miranda shared a picture on Instagram with iCarly cookies saying, just wrapped the first week working on the iCarly revival. It's understandable that with the ongoing pandemic, things are going a bit slower. When asked about the release date, the ex-co-showrunner, Jay Kogan, said the show would come out May-ish. He left the production at the end of February. The reason, according to sources, being him and Miranda Cosgrove not clicking creatively, and those creative differences ultimately led to his departure. So with the filming just happening, we're guessing that the show could still arrive this year, probably around autumn. The only thing set in stone is the launching of Paramount Plus, happening on the 4th of March. Paramount Plus is going to be another streaming platform, rivaling Netflix and HBO Go. Not only are they bringing us the iCarly reboot, they're also planning to reboot the iconic 90s sitcom Frasier. Which makes us wonder, if Paramount Plus is so set on reboots, are they willing to reboot more Nickelodeon shows? There were already whispers about a Drake and Josh reboot in the past, and Victoria Justice would be here for a Victorious reboot. The possibilities are there, but all of it probably depends on how many viewers the iCarly reboot can attract. Are you going to be tuning into the iCarly reboot? Are there any other shows you'd like to see rebooted? Let us know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching.